Hi everybody, it's Miss Marie, and I am here today making some hot soup. It's a perfect dinner for a really cold day. We've had a lot of snow and a lot of cold, and so I am making my family's favorite soup. It is a cream of chicken and wild rice soup. It's delicious. It smells really good. I wish you could smell it. So today we're going to be reading really nice stories about soup, which is perfect for this kind of weather. And I hope you and your family maybe will make some of your favorite soups tonight. Maybe you like vegetable soup, maybe you like alphabet soup. I'm not really sure what your family's favorite soup is, but enjoy it and settle down with me and we'll read some nice stories. Okay, see you soon. All right, are you ready to do a little snokey pokey? Snow has not let up around here. And I feel like we could do a little more snokey pokey. So let's put our right mitten in first. Ready? You put your right mitten in, you take your right mitten out, you put your right mitten in and you shake it all about. You do the snokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Now let's do our left mitten. You put your left mitten in, you take your left mitten out. You put your left mitten in and you shake it all about. You do the snokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Let's do our right foot. Our right boot, sorry, our right boot. You can't see mine, but let's pretend. Here we go. You put your right boot in, you take your right boot out. You put your right boot in and you shake it all about. You do the snokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Now left boot. You put your left boot in, you take your left boot out. You put your left boot in and you shake it all about. You do the snokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. How about our hat? I have a pom-pom hat that wobbles around. Here we go. You put your hat in, you take your hat out. You put your hat in and you shake it all about. You do the snokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Now let's do our whole snowsuit. Here we go. You put your snowsuit in, you take your snowsuit out. You put your snowsuit in and you shake it all about. You do the snokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Good job, everybody. You ready to join me for some great stories? The soup's on. Let's go hear some great stories about nice, warm, cozy soup. Okay, good. All right, the first story we're going to hear today is called Soup Day, and it is by Melissa E.Y., and I believe she does the pictures as well. She's the illustrator and the author, and this book is published by Henry Holt and Company, and it's Soup Day. Let me see, a little child and her mom making soup, just like me, making soup today. Oh, and it looks like it's a snowy day. Look at all the snow in the windows. My windows look like this too. Today is Soup Day. They're going out, shopping. I help Mama pick out the vegetables. She says it's important to choose the freshest ones with the brightest colors. I agree. So they're going through the grocery store looking for the best vegetables. This is what we put in our basket. A bunch of crispy green celery, one bunch, 2 shiny yellow onions, 1, 2, 3 long orange carrots, 1, 2, 3, 4 smooth tan potatoes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiny dark green zucchini, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big white mushrooms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and whoops, we almost forgot the parsley, 1 bunch of parsley. Back at home, we wash the vegetables. Then Mommy chops everything into different shapes. The celery and onions become tiny squares. The carrots become circles. The potatoes become cubes, and the parsley becomes confetti. And it does look a little bit like confetti, green confetti. I get to cut the mushrooms and zucchini with a plastic knife because they are soft. Mommy helps my hand. You can cut vegetables too with a plastic knife at home. We pour oil into the big soup pot and Mommy cooks the onions, celery, and carrots together. This makes them soft. They sizzle in the oil. That's what I did first on my soup too. Then we fill the pot with broth. It makes a loud sound because it's very hot. It makes a hissing sound. I help put in the rest of the vegetables. Mommy covers the pot and we wait. All right, what are they going to do while they're waiting? For a while, we make a city. Out of blocks, we're making a city. We read to each other. Then we have to escape from a big monster. Oh, now they're hiding in a little fort they've made. Before long, our home smells like yummy soup. Like that. And mine smell nice and yummy. My soup is cooking. Mommy checks the pot. We hear the soup bubbling inside. She tastes it. It needs a little something, she says. Mommy adds some spices. Salt and pepper, some thyme and oregano. Now I get to choose which kind of pasta to add to the soup. I pick alphabet because I like to eat the letters. Sometimes they make words. So we have all different kinds. We could have used fettuccine or angel hair or farfalle or pastina or rotini or elbow macaroni, but she chose alphabet. And those are really fun to eat, I have to say. While we wait for the noodles to cook, we clean up our city. We return the books to the bookshelf. We put the monster to sleep. Oh, it's just a bunny. I'm really a monster. Looks like they're getting ready for dinner. Packing up. And then Daddy's home. Now it's time to eat our soup. Oh, that sounds yummy. Mommy lets me sprinkle the confetti parsley on top. It looks like green snow. Nice fresh parsley. I love soup day. Oh, me too. That looks delicious. And on the back, they have the snowy day vegetable soup recipe, and it tells you how to make it. And it doesn't look like it takes very long to make it. So that's that story, and I hope you enjoyed that. I really like that one too. So now I'm going to read you a story where things don't go quite so smoothly. In that story, the first story, Soup Day, we had a mom and her daughter making soup together and having a great time. This next story is about three friends who suddenly aren't friends, all because of some soup that they're making. It's called Pumpkin Soup, and it's by Helen Cooper, and I believe she does the illustrations as well. Yes, Pumpkin Soup. And I really like this book. Miss Alyssa and I have read this one together before, and you can see the beautiful end papers, all kinds of objects here that are important to the story later, so pay attention, see if you see them. Deep in the woods, there's an old white cabin with pumpkins in the garden. There's good smell of soup at night, and at night with luck, you might see a bagpiping cat through the window, and a squirrel with a banjo, and a small singing duck. Can you see them in their home together in the woods, playing music? Pumpkin soup, the best you ever tasted, made by a cat who slices the pumpkin, made by the squirrel who stirs the water, made by the duck who scoops up a pipkin of salt and tips in just enough. Oh, there they are. It's so cozy. The three of them working on the soup together. What could go wrong, right? They slurp their soup and they play their song, then pop off to bed in a quilt stitched together by the cat, embroidered by the squirrel, and filled with fine feathers from the duck. And it's peaceful in the old white cabin. Everyone has his own job to do. Everyone is happy, or so it seems. What's gonna happen to these three friends? But one morning, though Duck woke up early, he tiptoed into the kitchen and smiled at the squirrel's special spoon. "Wouldn't it be fine," he murmured, "if I could be the head cook?" He drew up a stool, hopped on top, and reached until his beak touched the tip of the spoon. Kerplunk! Down it clattered. Then the duck trotted back to the bedroom, held up the spoon, and said, "Today's my turn to stir the soup." Uh-oh, squirrel and cat look mad already. Maybe I'll leave it out. "That's mine," squeaked the squirrel. "Stirring is my job. Give that back." "You're much too small," snapped the cat. We'll always cook the way we always have." But the duck held on tight, and the squirrel tugged with all his might, and whoops, the spoon spun through the air and bopped the cat on the head. There was trouble, a horrible squabble, a row, a racket, a rumpus in the old white cabin. Uh-oh, they're yelling things at each other. They're mad. Fight over who's the head cook. I'm not staying here, wailed the duck. You never let me help with anything. And he packed up a wheelbarrow, put on his hat, and waddled away. You'll be back, stormed the cat, after we've cleaned up. And the squirrel shook his spoon in the air, but the duck didn't come back. Not for breakfast, not even for lunch. I'll find him, scoffed the cat. He'll be hiding outside. And so here's the duck leaving. And over here you see the squirrel is starting to look at the time because a lot of time has passed and the duck hasn't come back. I bet he's in the pumpkin patch. But the duck was not in the pumpkin patch. They could not find him anywhere. Oh, there's a squirrel looking for him too in the pumpkin patch. Squirrel and cat looking for duck. So they waited all that long afternoon. There they are waiting first. They're mad. But as time goes on, they're starting to get worried. And now they're looking at the clock going, oh, it's late. The cat watched the door. The squirrel paced the floor. That duck will be sorry when he comes home, they muttered. But the duck didn't come home. Not even at soup time. Uh-oh. Where is he? Oh. The soup wasn't tasty. They'd made it too salty. Remember, duck always put the salt in? They didn't feel hungry anyway. They both sobbed over supper, and their tears dripped into the soup and made it even saltier. We should have let him stir the soup, sniffled the squirrel. He was only trying to help, wept the cat. Oh, let's go out and look for him. Look at them both so sad over their soup. And now they're going to go out and look for their friend again. The cat and the squirrel were scared as they wandered down the path in the dark, dark woods. They feared for the duck all alone in the tree with the trees and the foxes and the wolves and the witches and the bears, but they couldn't find him. They're imagining something terrible is in the woods. On and on they trudged until they reached the edge of a steep, steep cliff. Maybe he fell down, that, wailed the cat. I'll save him, squeaked the squirrel, and he scrambled down on a long, shaky rope. He searched all around on the ground, but he couldn't find the duck. Oh no, they're really, really trying now. Then the cat whispered in his sad little voice, Duck might have found some better friends. He might, sighed the squirrel. Friends who let him help. And the more they thought about it, as they plodded back, the more they were sure they were right. Oh, so they're positive. He opened up a duck soup stand with real friends that are nice to him. Oh no, they think they've really messed up this time. They can't find him where he could be. But when they were almost home, they saw light shining from the old white cabin. It's Duck, they shrieked as they burst through the door. And the duck was so happy to see them. He was also very hungry, and though it was late, they thought they would all make, what are they going to make? Some pumpkin soup. Oh no, look at the duck splashing everything around. When the duck stirred, the cat and squirrel didn't say a word. Not even when the duck stirred the soup so fast that it slopped right out of the pot. Not even when the pot got burnt. Then the duck showed the squirrel how to measure out the salt, and the soup was still the best you ever tasted. So once again, it was peaceful in the old white cabin. Look, they even have soup on their heads, but they don't care because they're having fun together. It was all peaceful again until the duck said, I think I'll play the bagpipes now. Uh-oh. Do you think he should be allowed to play the bagpipes? No, it looks like they're going to have a fight over the bagpipes now. I have to say, in this instance, I probably wouldn't want him to play the bagpipes either, because if you don't know how to play the bagpipes, they sound pretty terrible. You need somebody who knows what they're doing. So that's another story for another day, though. But it looks like they're going to let Duck maybe have a chance. There he is on the back of the book, playing some bagpipes. And that is the end of Pumpkin Soup. And let's It's one of those cute, fun books that Miss Alyssa and I like for fall or for winter. It's just a perfect story for this time of year. And for Soup Day, so. Okay, does everybody remember some of the winter rhymes we've been doing? I'd like to try them again while we still have some snow on the ground. These are my snowy favorite rhymes here. So let's pretend that we have a little snowman. You ready? Here we go. You need both hands for this one. A chubby little snowman had a carrot nose. You see his nose sticking out? Along came a bunny, and what do you suppose? That hungry little bunny, looking for his lunch, snapped off the snowman's nose and ate it. Nibble, nibble, crunch, crunch. Can you do one more time? Can I see your little snowman with his nose sticking out? Here we go. Chubby little snowman had a carrot nose. Along came a bunny, and what do you suppose? That hungry little bunny, looking for his lunch, snapped off the snowman's nose and ate it. Nibble, nibble, crunch, crunch. Oh my goodness. That's what bunnies do, though. I've been seeing a lot of bunnies in my yard. I don't know if they've eaten any of the carrots I left out there, though. It could be something else. Are you ready for Let's Go Walking in the Snow? All right, you can do this on your lap. I'm going to do it up here so you can see me, okay? Let's go walking in the snow. Walking, walking on tiptoe. Then all around the yard we skip. You can do this like this on your lap. Watch your step or you might slip. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Let's try one more time. Here we go. Let's go walking in the snow. Walking, walking on tiptoe. Then all around the yard we skip. Watch your step or you might slip. And it has been very slippery out there. When I'm walking here, I try to tell him, don't pull me around, I'm gonna slip and fall. So yeah, those are my two favorite ones for the winter, especially the skipping. I love that part. I hope you enjoyed those too. Okay, I am going to tell you a story today, and I need you to use your imagination to think about the objects and the things that we're talking about in our story. And then at the end, when we do our craft together, you can, you'll be able to retell the story. All right. So this story is one that I heard when I was a little girl, and it was on an album of stories being told by a famous children's storyteller, Danny Kaye, and he told the story called Stone Soup. And I found a nice shorter version of the story, but it's one of my favorites. So put on your imagination caps and let's hear this great story. Here we go. A kindly old stranger was walking through a village one day, and as he entered, the villagers started moving towards their homes, locking the doors and windows. They didn't like strangers. And they had found that strangers are often hungry and want to take food, and the villagers didn't feel like they had enough food. But the stranger had known about these types of villagers. He'd met some of these types before on his many travels. And so he smiled and he asked them, why are you all so frightened of me? I'm just a simple traveler looking for a nice place to stay and maybe a warm meal. Oh, there's not a bit of food to be had in this whole village, he was told. We are weak and our children are starving. You better just keep on going. We have no food here for you. Oh, okay. Well, perhaps then I can feed you, he said to them. What can you feed us? The villagers asked. And he said, well, I know how to make stone soup. Stone soup? You can't make soup from a stone. They laughed at him. Well, this is the type of stone soup I have prepared for the king and the queen when I saw them last, and they seem to really enjoy it. Would you like to try it? All I need is a cauldron full of water, a big heavy pot with some water in it. Can you get that for me? And a fire, maybe, a fire to cook it on. The villagers thought this was something to see, so one of them ran inside and grabbed a big, heavy black cauldron. And another one came with a bucket and poured some water into the cauldron. And they set it onto the fire and they stood back and they watched and they whispered to each other, this should be good. So the man reached into his pocket and pulled out a big gray stone. And it was clean. It looked like it had been used before. And he plopped that into the soup and he started stirring it into this big cauldron full of water. And he took a sniff and he said, it's starting to come together, but it really could just use a pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper. Does anyone have any pepper or salt that I could borrow? Well, one of the villagers thought to themselves, Sure, I can give up a little pepper and salt. Come on. So they ran into their home and they shook in a little salt and pepper into the broth, into the soup. So right now we have just stone, water, pepper, and salt. Doesn't sound like much, right? But to the stranger, this was delicious soup. He stirred it again and stirred it again. He took a big sniff. Oh, this would be even better if I just had a little bit of carrot and onion to put in there. Anybody have a little carrot or onion they could give up just to make the soup a bit richer? So one of the villagers thought, of course, I have a little bit of carrot and a little bit of onion. They ran back to their home and they came back with the carrot and the onion and threw it into the soup. And the stranger stirred it and let it get bubbling hot. Took another sniff. Oh, this is almost as good as the one I made for the king and the queen. You know what's missing though? A bit of sausage and cheese, just to really, really thicken it up. Well, I have some sausage and cheese, thought another villager, and they ran into their house and they came back with a little bit of sausage and cheese, just a little bit. And so the stranger chopped it up, threw it into the soup and stirred it again. Oh, it was smelling so delicious. And he thought, what else could I put in there? What would you put in your soup? Maybe some pasta, maybe some peas. Just put it in there and stir it. And now it's time to taste it. Are you ready? It was delicious. And so the stranger invited the villagers to bring their bowls and fill their bowls from his big pot of stone soup. And so they did. And as they were filling their bowls, the strangers thought, well, I have some extra bread at home. Bread would be perfect with this soup. And another one realized that they had just baked a whole bunch of pies. And they thought, why not have dessert with such a fine meal? That would really make it like a king and queen's dinner, wouldn't it? So the villagers came back with some more nice food. And then a few of them also decided, let's make a party. So they brought back their instruments and they brought back cozy chairs to sit on, and everybody sat together and had this amazing soup, now with bread and pie and music and company, and it was a wonderful, wonderful night. And it went on so late into the night that one of the villagers said to the stranger, oh, it's getting too late for you to leave now. You need to come back and sleep in our house tonight. You can go in the morning. So now the stranger had had a beautiful meal with some lovely people and a place to sleep for the night. And when he woke up in the morning, he could hear them whispering, oh, that stone soup was amazing. Where can we get a stone like that? But one of the children in the village said, I don't think it was the stone that made the soup so delicious. And I think that child is right. I think there was something else that made that soup so delicious. What do you think it was? Was it magic? Or was it all of the people in the village lending a little something into the soup and then coming together to enjoy it? I think that's the right answer. Okay, that's the end of our story time for today. If you are going to be doing the craft with me, stick around, and you're going to need a glue stick and some paper, and if not, I'll see you next week. Bye. Okay, remember I said we were going to get to retell the story of stone soup. So if you have picked up from the library your cauldron, I'll turn it this way so you can see it. A bag full of nice ingredients for your soup. Maybe you want to grab a piece of paper to glue it to if you have it. If not, you can just glue the items right onto the cauldron, okay? And then I have my markers and my glue. I'm gonna have the markers to add some details. We'll see what we're gonna add. I don't know, what kind of details would you add? Think about it. What kind of things will my soup need? Okay, so I put some glue on the back of my cauldron. Glue it right onto my paper. Okay, now I'm gonna start adding some ingredients to my soup. First, of course, we need the stone. That has to go in the soup first. All right. And then what did we do? We stirred it and stirred it and stirred it, and it needed something else. What else stir it and stir it and stir it. And what else do we want? Perhaps an onion. Oh, I love carrots and onions in my soup. And then we stir it and stir it and stir it. And I think it needs maybe, oh, this one has a radish. I didn't put a radish in my soup before. We can add a radish to it. Let's stir and stir and stir and put in a sausage. That makes it nice and thick. Gives it a little salt too. How about some cheese? That would definitely thicken up our soup and add more salty flavors, creamy flavors. Now I've added all those ingredients. I'm going to add some details with my markers. Perhaps I needed some pepper. Let's make some pepper dots. Pepper, pepper, pepper. Pepper tastes delicious. And it's all in my soup now. Pepper. How about some parsley? Ooh, some little green parsleys. And these are just kind of making like little clovers or stars. It could be also some speckles. Some more parsley, because I really like it. Alright, and that is my stone soup. And you can tell the story to your family when they come home from school or from work. And you can tell them all about stone soup and how it seems like it was made from a stone, but really the stone was just a way to get other people to help and put in good food stuff that you needed in the soup. All right, I'll see you next week for some more yummy warm treats. Have a great week.